Hi there, welcome to Carcassonne with Utze. It's the Carcassonne Champions League qualifications again. We are in Group B. It's the lower final between Vadzimir from Tunisia and Vainiria from Chile. Both borderline masters with peak ratings in the lower 700s. And in this tournament here, both played against my teammate Karabujan, with Vainiria losing by a score of 0-2 and Vadzimir winning by the exact same score. But as is usually the case with cross comparisons, they might not be of a lot of value here. Both matches could have ended the other way around for all, at least I've seen from the matches, or with the 2-1 in anyone's favor. So it doesn't tell a lot about their chances today. I would think they are more or less 50-50. So Vainiria's peak rating came in last month at 700 something, or 4 or 5, even though BGA's rating evolution graph here didn't pick up on the 700 rated days. They were there, I've checked. And Vadzimir's peak rating is either from end of 23. Nah, it must have been 24. And this one here should have been in 2025. Again, 700 something, 03, 04, 05, something like that. There's a bit of history, but I mean, one game per year and none this year. One tie actually, even though this tool here shows it as a win for Vadzimir, but back in the day there wasn't any tiebreaker, so it was indeed a tie. Doesn't really say a lot about today's chances again, because the last game between these two was roughly 18-19 months ago, so I think they both will be starting with the clean sheet here, and we'll see. Let's check. Have they started a tournament? This doesn't look like it. Let's see if Vainiria has started one, or if they will be just playing a regular game with slow time control. Looks like it, so both are online. And then it's only a question whether one of them has already created a match. Doesn't look like it for now. Oh. I hope they'll only take a few seconds to do so. Let's check Vadzimir's game history in the meantime. So a lot of plays against folks from Tunisia, as one could expect, maybe. Yeah, some known names here. Giulio from Italy, Angelo San, Oscaridis, but doesn't look like he's going for big honchos. And still no game, but at least created by Vadzimir. And Vainiria quite obviously has joined. The table is full and should start in a few seconds then. Here we go. Yeah, Vainiria with the what? Okay. I don't know what that's about, but wishing a ton of fun is sure. Nice greeting to start off a match with these implications today. Did I talk about them? No, I didn't. So the loser is out of contention as it's the loser's brackets final, or lower bracket if you prefer. The winner will reach the consolidated final against the loser of the upper final and has a 50-50 shot at securing a main stage ticket to the Carcassonne Champions League 2026 edition. So there's a lot at stake here, and we'll see. I would pack both on rather slow playing style, definitely Vainiria. Rim won the 2023 Mind Sports Olympiad Grand Prix, so knows his stuff. And Vadzimir definitely is the quicker player of the two, not just for no-brainer moves, but also in more complicated situation, at least from what I have witnessed so far, especially in this Q1B tournament. For now, this all looks nice. Even this continuation of the city is totally fine. If yellow attacks here, blue would be happy to create a ruin and just kill over there with this road meeple as a second or third casualty as well. Sure, losing a mini battle, but at the cost of one additional meeple by yellow. This would definitely be okay. Threatens to kill this one over here, but yellow quite likely will just protect by dumping the twin caps there. Maybe they are thinking whether to take this city cap. Oh, they don't. They don't care about the block. So then I'd go for it. Why not? Alternative, of course, would be to pre-close the city, but if you're able to kill this one at a cost of 1 and slightly lesser chances of completing your city, why not go for it in the beginning? Sure, yellow could grow their ruin, but you might be able to prevent that by harassing the city with possibly not that useful road tiles. Not happy about this curve, actually. There were still 3 daggers left, of course, but also 2 roses and 1 starting tile. So either obstruction with this curve would have limited the square to 3 caps left. But the other way around doesn't give away a 3-point road to yellow upon completion. Yellow with a nice new city up top, creating a square to attack or restrict blue's city up top, and also takes away at least road Doritos as means to continue blue's city. Also, it's easier for them now to just get away with this road and harass blue city while doing so, as this would be obstructed from the top side already. So for example, if yellow were to get a rose, they could at least consider this move with 2 daggers still in a deck. Maybe once their city on the left, top left is closed, there are other options. Horses definitely would be nice. Road Doritos, not so much. So we'll see how this one here will develop. For now, blue tried to obstruct yellow city, but it, at least for now, didn't really work. Always pain in the ass to have this configuration. In this case, it's not that big of a problem. There are still 9 Doritos out there. Only one was placed by blue so far. So even if you have to invade your own city, it should work out in most cases, and it's definitely not easy to be blocked by blue. Both taking quick points. That's fine, although I think vadzimir could have gone for this here, just in case blue gets a road Dorito and decides to use it over here. This road piece there would threaten a possible restriction. Sure, it would also create the option for a 4-point loop road, but I don't know. It's a wash, maybe. I like to, if possible, create future blocking options against cities, even if it might, in some cases, cost a few points. Yeah, so I don't know. Sure, they close the city that's more valuable, scores 8 points. They could have scored 4. The problem is now they have only 2 daggers left. If they had gone for the right city, the same limitation from the left side wouldn't have been as potent as this one, with still 3 daggers of the left-handed variety in the deck. So, well, I don't know if this is the better move, but at least one to consider if you have a configuration like this is definitely any dagger asymmetry. But I mean, they didn't even care to protect this city just because there were options to attack it anyway. So do they care for this one now? I mean, the 75% chance of liberation, I definitely would, especially as the 6, possibly 9-point field could be pretty nice and taken with tempo nonetheless. Or maybe take a road here, and the second road end is already present up top. Maybe they don't care. They just go for this restriction, which is all fine and dandy. But Vainiria could counter immediately by taking these 2 points and then later on restrict yellow city to the same tile that yellow's road and blue city already need, the one and only remaining starting tile. So I'm not really sure this here was absolutely necessary, and also I'd have to put a question mark behind yellow's Dorito move there. I'm sure they hoped that blue wouldn't attack here, just as any attack like this would devalue blue's right city. But the problem is any restriction move by you does the same. It works out for them for now because they just killed blue city. Yeah, blue has the chance to kill this one. They don't. They rather give themselves a great chance to get this monk back. Still all 4 regular monasteries out there. But still, if you can kill one of your opponent's cities, and of course the meeple with it, and prevent this move, why not? But with the upside of securing this field, ensuring against yellow drawing this dagger, it works for blue. And they are down by 13, so setting up this 50 or 49, 48 to 52 flip is definitely okay. Why not? I mean, you have to score some points somewhere. That's why they take the monastery on the left. This time a kill over here wouldn't have been a great idea, as monasteries should in most cases be used for their original purpose, and that's scoring a boatload of points, ideally by lumping them together, aka stacking. Okay, again, no defense. Well, why should you? Your opponent had chances, didn't kill it. But in the end, I think yellow doesn't value this option to claim the road once they close their city enough. Sure, adding this Dorito over here as a net 0 move, as you score 3 points and 3 points go to blue's farmer. But getting this meeple back might be necessary, especially if you give your opponent the chance to restrict one of your cities. And frankly, the most promising feature by your color on the whole board to a 50-50, then you might take care of meeples when it's possible. So I don't like this here at all. The field is shoddy at best. Basically only this square was left to extend it. It's walled in on the right, top and bottom, and scores only 6 points. So I don't think that's a wise investment in the late mid game. Yeah, they protect indirectly to still have a chance to close their city. Again, there's only 1 starting tile left, so maybe just add the critical pieces here. Yeah, and therefore, why not wait with this curve move, protect your city, hope to draw the 75% here. Don't give your opponent the chance to block your city up top. Just wait for a cap to close it, rose, starting tile, maybe even the dagger if you don't want to use it at the bottom. And then, if needs must, close this city, preferably, of course, after close the road after your city is closed. Problem being that the rose was the last crossroad in this game, so if yellow would have drawn the starting tile to close this before liberating the road meeple, an obstruction like this quite likely would have happened, but it's not really that big of a deal. Oh, yeah, no fan, and now this here is killed. But bottom line is yellow is still ahead, and frankly, I wouldn't have killed this one, but rather the one up top. This one here would be a 7-pointer. This is a 0-point move, maybe 5 points if they take the road, of course. To me, this city up top is more threatening, especially because if they happen to draw the starting tile, then they might extend their field to the left. So overall, yellow is up by 22, and all their problems don't really matter. Blue has to score a lot. Could even think about something like that. Sure, there are still 2 daggers to attack, or straights to limit this to the same dagger, but I think it's a worthy move and they go for it. Meanwhile, yellow says thanks to blue for not killing their city up top, closes this one for another healthy influx of 7 points to their score, while also getting a meeple back to equalize the at least temporary meeple count. And overall, it looks more and more like blue just won't have enough options to score a lot of points. So they definitely need to close the city up top and then take this field. Hope to draw a splitter later, expand the field over here maybe. Could still work out, but for now it looks unlikely. And sure, another option is to attack yellow's field with at least 3 pieces to connect. Exactly 3 pieces for now. And this is a kill. Blue didn't like the murky protection because there's only one rotary and one horse left. But still 2 caps to immediately close this. And there weren't a lot of road pieces to execute this kill, so the decision by yellow is definitely understandable. Okay, they try to create a city up top. which might end up on their field. And they also could get an option to drop a cap for an insurance farmer, although with the few road pieces out there, not even sure if that's good investment, as long as there are other options to score more points with road pieces. Yeah, blue tries to attack the field. Yellow immediately gets the last curve, so this option at least is dead, but there are still 2 daggers left to connect up top. This is a nice restriction, taking away 2 caps. Both daggers don't fit anymore, which isn't a huge problem for blue, considering they already need one of these daggers to connect to yellow's field for 6 points. But blue definitely now needs a vanilla, or preferably the splitter, to close the city and take this field, which would be a 12-point move, and it's absolutely necessary for them to still have a chance in this game. So 12 points over here, 6, possibly plus 4 points there. Yeah, looks like these are definitely critical to happen, else there aren't a lot of chances to overcome the 25-point deficit. Wrong kind of dagger. And let's see what they do with this. Quite likely dropping this next to their monastery. And then at least they could use the last left-handed dagger to score 8 points there. So like this here. 4 points for the city, 1 point to the monastery, also bringing this monk closer to being liberated and adding 3 points to the field. Instead, they go for this move just to take away the same option from yellow. Considering, though, that only the daggers and the remaining horse could be used to claim this field, I'm not convinced this move was necessary right now. Yeah, blue just doesn't get their pieces fast enough. Now that they claimed another monastery, they don't have any meeple left. And absolutely need the splitter or vanilla to close their city, or a dagger, but the same dagger in 2 places. One to liberate this monastery and the other to connect to blue's field for 6 points, to yellow's field. So this field here is now tied, but yellow gets the second dagger, and therefore these monks are dead. There's no road piece left to fit here. And yellow quite likely will just kill blue city and crush all hopes of blue with this one move. H1. They just need to count whether there is actually still cap left to close the city. And we know there are two even. Actually at plus 14 doesn't look like even this here could save blue, so yellow could also do something else. But it's easier to just kill your opponent than find an alternative. Yeah, here we go. There's the vanilla, but way too late. Yeah, so overall, what do I think about this game? Where did this one turn wrong for blue? Well, totally annoying, of course, was losing this 50-50 flip for the monastery. I mean, if you're down minus 13 and your opponent got an 8-point monastery, as this also liberated your monk, which you could have taken for 10. That right there is an 18-point difference. And coincidentally, that's actually what we end up over here. That definitely was one big problem, but I totally get this move. For them, it quite likely would have worked out if they hadn't gone here, but instead killed Yellow City earlier, as they drew the Road Monastery just 1 or 2 moves later. But that's hindsight, and hindsight definitely isn't the best advisor from a probability standpoint. This move here was a good one. Definitely securing this field, taking away the option from yellow to doing the same once they get their hand on the dagger. So it's totally okay. It just turned out that the deck was stacked the wrong way. Stuff like that sometimes happens. The idea was a good one. And else, I don't know actually. They couldn't do a lot to protect the city after yellow added the vanilla there. They had the chance, of course, to continue their city over here instead of killing yellows. But that's just philosophy, I think. So some players protect their stuff, some prefer to kill, and in this case, I would have gone with the same move here. In the end, yellow's ruin was worth less than blue's. Also, this city, totally okay, totally valid try. Yeah, maybe it's just a monastery flip. It happens. So we'll see. Will Vainiria come back, or will Vadzimir sweep another of his opponents? First monastery down. Starting player this time is Vadzimir. So all's fine on that front, at least, as Vainiria was the starting player in the first game. Yeah, sure. They don't play a tournament, so starting player alternates. I was mistaken there, of course. Both with small cities. A bigger threat by blue now, and I expect a farmer soon. Not with the monastery, though. just taking away this option from yellow should be the way to go. More interesting choice for yellow. They should meeple the monastery. The question is, where do you go? I don't like this, as then blue would just need to wait for us to complete this. Going over here is better, but maybe I would have taken one of these two moves. Oh, nice extension for Blue City. Getting the second shielded extender, and therefore yellow immediately tries to harass the city and drops the farmer, which is a good idea. Blue, of course, protects, also attacks the road. I mean, why not? It's only 3 points, sure, and there might be a restriction coming, but it doesn't matter. If you get your side of this road, it's totally fine if this square here were restricted or killed, maybe. The purpose of this move was just to protect the city, and if you don't meeple this, well, then this would be a crucial mistake, as any road by yellow would double the points for their road. This gives yellow more chances to restrict Blue City, but also, in almost all cases, at least one shot for blue to protect their city against a kill here. So if, for example, yellow would get a starting tile, then blue could counter by adding a curve from the top. Still 3 daggers out there. The only problem, and it's not even really a problem, if yellow does something like that, well then blue would just, if the drawn tile permits, of course, attack the city. So actually, yellow won't use a dagger over here, a Dorito over here, or triple city to try and connect. They'd rather wait for anything with the road piece. Unless blue closes their city beforehand, which they now will do, and they just rejoice, because with this they take a nice lead on the scoreboard, despite yellow already having 3 stacked monasteries there. Also, blue has 2 farmers, not already on a unified field, but in this case, when you have these 2 options, it should only be a matter of time. So they will take the cap up top. A bit frightened of a blocking move, but as blocks on the left side are a bit more potent due to only 1 dagger still in the deck, they opt to go to the right. This here, of course, would be totally annoying with only 1 starting tile left. 3 are on the board, but at least then you'd have the splitter to protect. So yellow threatens this connection. Again, only 1 starting tile left, and they might very well restrict the connection on the left to the very same tile. Vainiria will or should do something about yellow city, as that's on now yellow's biggest threat. Also, yellow is down to 1 meeple, so preventing them from getting the meeple back is sure a good idea. The only question, quite likely, is should you meeple this now or not? And I wouldn't. With only 2 in hand. With 3 in hand, I would be way more likely. This way, you can wait. There's only one splitter. And if blue yellow, why do I mess these colors up today? These colors. And if yellow connects, there would be still options to attack the city. So now, and yellow just dumped this vanilla there, which I wouldn't have. Why not add this for 3 points next to your monasteries? Also bring them closer to completion and set up a possible city for you. Maybe even an option to attack the field. Or go here. Nah, not really. Not giving blue the chance to liberate their monastery while our 3 are still stuck. Yeah, so they use another vanilla there. I also like the priorities of blue. Going for this here, ensuring that they could liberate their monastery if the need arises with a curve. And if yellow wants to get these back, they at least would give blue a monk back as well. And also you could restrict this square later to the same configuration. Or after closing the city, of course, you may be able to kill this one. So we'll see. Yellow quite likely will just claim 4 points. Could do this over there as well, which would be better. Just take this one, and if blue wants to claim points, then at least they would need to help your monastery. So blue protects. Again, still the starting tile left. Yellow connects, and now it would be time for blue to attack this city. There's still 7 Doritos plus the splitter left. So chances for yellow to close this one are quite good. They take care of the road. Don't mind leaving this monastery square there, as there are still 2 monasteries out there. One of each variety. And there are also a lot of city plus double field tiles out there, so a restriction here wouldn't do a lot. Vainiria quite likely won't liberate their monastery. They have 2 versus 1 meeples in hand. So why give yellow the chance when they only have the 1 meeple in hand to liberate their monk? Bottom line is a 2 versus 1 meeple majority is way better than a 3 versus 2 majority. So this restriction is definitely the better option of the 2. Did I mention that blue connected to the main farm and took this over? I don't think so, but they did. And for now, that's all they needed for these 12-point differences. Oh man. Yellow, yeah. Claim 5 minus 3 points. Why not? Because of this city. They think about going over here just to take away options for blue to attack the city. The problem is there is no left-handed dagger in the deck. So a straight or curve over here would kill this square immediately. So in this case, how about this protection? I mean, there were still 5 big city tiles out there to continue like this, and then you just need a Dorito and both orders would work. So either getting the Dorito first and then the big city, or vice versa. Also very hard to do a lot about these options for blue. The best they had would have been to attack from the bottom. So not happy with this move is me. Yeah, yellow couldn't protect because they drew the remaining road monastery, used it for 6 plus 2 points, which is nice, but it was also their last meeple, and they don't get a curve to liberate one monk. They don't get a crossroad to liberate another one, and all other still need a few tiles to get them back on the bench. Yeah, Vainiria will close the city. Maybe they think about taking the field, but I don't see any reason to go for this right now. Do they think about this one maybe? Well, there's still a monastery and a vanilla left, so you take away the curves, but not sure yellow would even use a curve there, so just going for the city. Take the 5 points, the meeple back. You can claim this field or this here later. Yeah, problem for yellow. They need a Dorito over here. Can't really justify using triple cities there, as then blue would be able to claim that with a cap. And that's, of course, completely annoying if you happen to draw such juicy piece to close an 8-point city. Don't have a meeple in hand. Oh man, this just sucks. And this lost value might just do yellow in this game. So yeah, this one here. Not ideal. I get it, but still not ideal. So for now, at least yellow finally gets the meeple back in hand. But by now they are down -21. All monasteries gone. So this square isn't as valuable as it was before. What does blue do? Maybe take the 3 points and restrict this square, because this cap is on your field, so would be okay. There are still, frankly, at this point in time, a boatload of crossroads left to liberate your road meeples, so you don't really need to go there. There's only one extender left. The twin caps are gone, so any ideas of snatching these cities or this city aren't great. But they could go for this, but then leaving this cap open. Nah, I don't like this. Yeah, I like this one as well. It also adds another critical decision to yellow's docket once they get a Dorito, for example. I mean, you can't really leave this like it is, but if they meeple this, it's rather easily restricted or killed by blue. Also nicely done here, adding pressure there, threatening to kill this square. Yep, taking away any chance to get these two back. Sure, yellow with a few quick points, also a limitation. But again, there are still a lot of crossroads out there. And if blue successfully kills this one and these two meeples, it will be smooth sailing for them. And therefore, I think this move is a must. Looks to me like yellow just has to protect there and hope to draw the curve to then claim these 3 points. With the added incentive of the road, blue might even go for this. Without this incentive, blue in this situation won't or shouldn't. Yeah. Oh, 9. No. I mean, no. This isn't a winning move. You're down minus 20. The field is worth 15. How do you intend to score the difference and outscore blue's remaining meeple the rest of the way if you don't have a meeple in hand? This is frankly impossible unless you get the curve soon. But there are still options to attack this field. And quite frankly, if I see 7, just with a quick glance, why do you need to hop on this one immediately? I mean, yeah, sure, it's totally annoying, but with still 20 tiles in the deck, hope to draw a curve, score the points. With 2 meeples in hand, you can do a lot more damage than with only the one. This is maybe a win in at most 4 or 5% of games, if even that. Which is actually a shame, because I would have liked yellow to fight for the field or have a better chance to fight for the field. Maybe they still will. I mean, if this curve hits, they get a monk back. One option to attack is gone, but there are others, as sketched earlier. Okay, the problem about this one is they might need a straight there to liberate a second monk. But bottom line, yellow could very well attack the field with a third farmer to not just tie the field for 15 points from our standpoint now, but also take this over for 30 points. And 30 points then would be a +9 for them. The problem with this +9, though, blue has 2 meeples in hand. There are juicy ruins, even the third one at the bottom. Yellow just added a city cap to blue's field. Well, if they had a meeple in hand, I would get this. If they don't, yeah, sure. If you hope to take this field over, enriching it might be an idea, but without a meeple, wow, that's rather dubious. But there's one additional thing I don't like about this move. Takes away the option to attack here, which might be good, as you also take away blue's options to add an insurance farmer, which, if it isn't needed or doesn't happen, would at least score 3 points. Whereas now the insurance farmer, well, the best idea would be this one, would score 0 points over there. But in the end, blue just gets all the curves. Now there's only one left. And even if yellow's farmer finally connected to this field, it doesn't look like they'll have a chance to still win this one. They are at -22. So even using 2 moves to add a farmer to the field to win it would only take care of 15 of these 22. And then with their last move, they need to score 8 to be up by 1. But Vainiria, of course, also has 3 moves left and 2 meeples in hand. So this will end up in a tied with a D at the end match. And I hope for a tight with a T at the end. Third game, or decider, if you want to call it that. Why did I refresh? Doesn't make any sense. It's not yet over, even though the winner should be Vainiria for sure, unless they time out or I don't know, don't do any move on purpose. I think a tad more precise would have been this move here. Score the same 4 points, but have options to score 4 more, or in some cases even add this farmer to the main field. Also taking away... does it take away this option? No, it doesn't really. So not going over here actually takes away this option. And yeah, therefore this here is contrary to what I thought at first. Of course, more precise in the end. There's still an option to attack here, like this, and then connecting with the starting tile. Due to no curves out there, this here sadly doesn't work. Okay. Doesn't matter. Blue just scores 2 points. We'll take one of these ruins in the end. And then we are done. So most precise move by yellow might just be to take the 4 points here and later claim the lesser ruin up top. Well, I mean, there's still the field attack. Maybe they will go for this just to reduce or possibly reduce the deficit. I mean, the EV is totally fine. It's if it works out, you gain 15 plus 3, so 18. It's a 50-50, so EV is 9 points. So frankly, taking 4 and 5 does the same. Oh yeah, this option is also there, but that's never a connection if your opponent knows their stuff. Either they get to kill this or they get your connection piece. So this farmer with perfect play, and perfect play by your opponent is rather easy in this case, is a drunken one. So on to the decider to figure out who will meet, who's in the lower final again? Let me check. Sparta, right. So looks like no break for them needed. Then here we go. Let's see if Vadzimir is again the one opening the table, and he did. Vainiria hasn't joined yet, as far as I can interpret these graphics there. Looks a bit grayish to me, and definitely looks more grayish there. Yeah, what to make of this second game? Looked a bit like Yellow overextended themselves with all these monasteries, but they were just too nice to pass up. So I think the crucial problem, I mean, I harped already, was the city on the left side, which they could have played safer or maybe more patient. I mean, there was no need to place the dagger there. They could have waited and there was still hope for blue not drawing any attacking tile and for yellow getting a Dorito. So just taking city cap on their field next to the monastery on the bottom right was definitely a valid option. But if you go for your city, I think the safer approach would have been better, and this just might have turned this second game the wrong way for them. So here we go. Why there? This creates a problem here, or could create a problem there. And the other way around, sure, you aren't happy with this monastery square due to possible restrictions here, but at least there's no chance for blue for now to restrict two of your meeples, which is present in this configuration, of course, and it's not just a restriction or kill of these two meeples. It would also quite severely restrict the field of this very early yellow farmer, which is also a bit premature. It's more like 1 or 2 decades ago farming. Just jump on the first chance you get, but will this field actually become a good field? We'll see. The likelihood just increased by quite a lot, maybe at least doubled, due to this monastery opening up all these nice green pastures up top. Blue indirectly secured this 4-point loop road by pushing their city into it, also attacking yellows. Ukrainian road, if you want to call it that, attacking this road via a square that's needed for the monastery, also creating restriction options against monasteries, and if united, which happened, the road as well. Looks to me like a case of this one here, which has way more upside than just taking 2 points, and not going for this is a missed chance. In a situation like that, sure, you'd love to get a horse to threaten this square, but if your opponent gets a curve, for example, what do? Well, they could save their monastery, but then they might lose the road. So what else should they do? Maybe this one here, at least giving you the chance to create a loop road and also more options to kill the square. So I think this is just a lost chance by blue to really throw a big spanner into yellow's monastery works, and it might come back to bite them later. Just liberating this monk alone is so good for yellow, getting the second meeple with one rather easy to liberate. Yeah, missed chance, definitely. So this is the third right-handed dagger. Blue needs one over here, might later need another one there. left-handed daggers, that is, sorry. So still 3 here, and if yellow goes there, blue would need another dagger there as well. Chances in theory are still intact to close the city, but if any limitation were to happen on the left side, this would give yellow a great chance to attack both these squares for the price of one possibly shoddy road piece. And I like blue's counter move, threatening to do something against this one, and quite frankly, I would do this now. I wouldn't care about these two. Sure, you could protect this square, but I think this here is the stronger move. Hoping to draw something for this one here and not threaten, but kill this poor attacking city meeple who just got the perfect piece. One move too late. So this is dead. The meeple is dead. Great news for blue. And yellow only has one meeple in hand, so they go for the 50-50 over here, which, well, works in more than 50% of cases, or in other words, closing the city for blue won't happen in 50% because they still need at least one dagger here and another cap there. So the likelihood of this city being closed trends towards, let's say 35-ish%, maybe 40, depends a bit on this development. They can't defend, and any curve like this would immediately kill the city. So maybe it's even at this point in time, without the straight, more 30-ish, maybe even 20-ish. Doesn't matter. For now, it looks good for blue, and even if this city were killed, getting the quadruple city would at least take away 4 points from yellow, score these 4 points for blue, +2, so it's a 10-point flip. And would bode very well for blue's chances to win this game. For now, city is dead, more or less as expected. Blue couldn't do anything to save this. But in the grand scheme of things, doesn't really matter. For now, at least, this mini battle here is tied, and you still have the 50-50 chance to win this one by quite a large margin. In other news, yellow's farmer hasn't improved a bit, or maybe a tiny bit, due to the city cap, which well, waits there for a cap. Yellow, of course, opted to restrict this square instead of closing the city, as this here was the higher priority. Why there? Because of the daggers, of course. This here would have been a kill, and that's why blue did go to the top side of the city, even though an attack was possible. Will blue take this monastery spot, or will they just score 3 points? They opt for fewer points, which I don't like. I mean, you have 2 meeples left. These 2 city meeples were rather easy to get back as well, and this monastery is pretty hard to block, as again there are still the daggers out there, and you don't really need the dagger over here anymore due to the city being a ruin now, and a move like that would only score you net 2 points, as it would extend yellow's field, which you'd like to prevent anyway. So maybe investing the dagger somewhere else would be the way to go in any case. So I would have liked a 7-point monastery with good options to complete this, possibly even an option to snatch a 5-point road on top, or maybe even a field or field attack. Yeah, this looks too timid to me, as the situation isn't as clear as it could be by now. So first left-handed dagger goes to yellow, and they, of course, snatch the road and the 3-point field for a net 6-point move, but at least the quadruple city gets into blue's hand. Looks a bit like a seesaw here right now. So yellow taking the lead, blue taking the lead, yellow almost tying the game. Now blue will score a few points. Blue also still has the chance to re-attack the currently shared city. For now, they might think how to restrict the field. Okay, they take away a loop road option. Could have gone over here to prevent this field from extending here to gain more green squares. Because as of now, yellow doesn't have a good way to add twin caps or dagger. Well, the dagger splitter. Well, although the splitter would fit nicely there. Yeah, blue tries to crawl into the shared city. Yellow won't invest the vanilla there. Instead, snatch this one and prepare an attack or blocking move from the left side. So the likeliest option for blue to continue is, of course, the road Dorito. If they'd go over here, the kill would be very likely, and if not, then yellow would at least prevent the complete takeover. With many but not all tiles, the rose and road Dorito, for example, wouldn't work. Same can be said about the horse. So continuation over here is still up in the air. But blue could protect this actually, like this here. Is there anything else they need to do with the curve right now? I don't think so. So I like this move quite a lot, actually. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely go for this. Else, yellow could just kill this square and threaten to kill this meeple as well. Instead, they go for the field now. Okay. And yellow very frightened. With only 3 caps out there, maybe you should rather take the field and hope to draw one of these caps later to score more points there. Whoa. Yellow's Road to Rito investment paid huge dividends, claiming the 9-point field there, but due to the city, blue is still ahead by 5 points. And there is also the 6-point field available, which is more likely to end up in blue's hands due to their meeple majority. Blue took away curves from here, which is a good idea. They need the curve over here, so they protected the option to take the 4-point road with the road to Rito if they happened to get one. They didn't. But at least taking away in some cases, yellow would just liberate the monastery, but with 2 meeples in hand, taking 4 points was, of course, their move to go. So, yeah, I like this. Also because yellow would, which they did, set up a city to be claimed quite likely by blue. So, interesting implications of this one Dorito over here. Yeah, and just think about how this situation would look like if your farmer were on this side of the city. At least to me, this looks or would look better. The potential to claim this. And yeah, which yellow will now do, right? What else is there? Well, getting a meeple back, sure. But then the chance to get a 9-point field with one move might be gone. And the priority is to take this one, else your opponent would have with the straight. And there is an additional upside. If they connect now, there's still outside chance to connect over here. You need to get curve or road monastery plus maybe a burrito over here, or the road Dorito and the curve, for example. So chances aren't that great to unite these two fields. And basically, unless this cap were to be closed, there's no need to unite the fields. For now, the shared field scores 9, and yellow's field scores 9 as well. If this were 1, it would score 12 points, so 3 points for yellow, yeah, sure, but 3 points for 2 invested pieces in the end game might not be enough. So getting the road monastery would push this over the edge of being valuable due to the added 3-point road. On the other hand, they could use the road monster there, but again, only 1 meeple in hand. Oh, we'll see. For now, it looks way more likely that this will end up as a win for blue. Basically, getting curve or road monastery would seal the deal, especially the road monastery, of course, due to this connection option. Score 6 for the monastery and a 6 for the field is too much for yellow to overcome, and at -12 it looks like there's not a lot for them to still win this game, so might need to set up the connection and the road monster flip like this, because if they go here, 3 out of these 4 tiles up top would immediately kill this. And over here, you'd protect this square. Okay, they don't. Well, they still have another shot, so getting the second meeple back might be the better option then. Blue just takes a point. They don't play against this threat, which was still alive. But I mean, at +11, now +12. This threat here isn't potent enough to win the game for yellow anyway, right? There's nothing to close this city. And even in the best of cases, like this here, yellow would score 5 for the monastery and a 3 net for the field. That's just 8 points, and 8 points aren't enough. Also, this ruin at the bottom isn't worth enough for an attack, and the 1 connection piece is gone anyway. Yeah. Looks pretty sad for yellow. Trying to unite and take over the field doesn't work due to only 3 points on blue's field. Yeah, that's a shame. I had high hopes after this move here that could become close in the end, but it didn't. And therefore, I won't even rip into Vadzimir, because this game definitely is over. Unless someone loses on time. But maybe blue doesn't know. Let's see, in the end. With one meeple in hand and the monster is still out there, they just dumped the splitter there, right? No need to do anything else. Either you get to claim this one or the field or the road monastery. Yeah, this is not precise, as the road monastery would score an additional 3 points, but it doesn't matter, as it's at least a 6-point move. Yeah, well done. Yep, this move here by yellow, even though it set up the chance to snatch this 9-point field, let's go to the replay. Like to take a look at this one again. Still not there. Okay, and let's inch forward a few more. Here we go. Yeah, so here we are. Do you really need to add this to your opponent's city? Sure, there were options to kill this. I mean, no daggers left. From this side as well. And there's also the 50-50 flip. Oh, but is it really that likely that they would be able to run away with the city like that? I don't think so, actually. There were a lot of tiles out there to immediately counterattack and prevent them from closing the city immediately afterwards. No blocking tile though, as all options for this one are still in the deck. And rather lousy restrictions with then one Dorito and one horse left. As yellow has the one in hand, this here would be the second. And so there would only be one remaining. Sure, if you lose the city, you very likely would lose the game. But the upside of possibly being able to kill these, I can't decide. I really can't decide. The one thing I'm sure about is a blue move like this, I would have laughed. I would have raved about even. Would have been so great. Yeah, I think they missed this one, but it is what it is. Okay, doesn't look like anyone is interested in more analysis, so let's take a look at the bracket again. Vainiria moves to the consolidated final to meet Sporter there. And the winner of this match, of course, as you all quite well know, will secure a ticket to the main stage. So congratulations, Vainiria, and good luck to both in the consolidated final. This should take place sometime around Christmas. Maybe they rather play it this weekend even. We'll see. Later today there is the postponed match of the Porti versus Arcetos. I'm not sure if Alexi, maybe Otto would cover this. If not, I'll decide later. So thanks for tuning in and sticking around until the end. If one of you likes to support me, check the description. A lot of options are listed there. The one I really care about the most is more chat messages and possibly more co-hosts, because I really like to talk about the game with a human being and not just to the screen myself. That would be really nice. See you!